Hey guys, this is Jonathan. Good evening. I hope I find you guys in good spirits. Um, I know we're all pretty excited about getting to the end of the semester, and I hope everybody's doing well, and hope you guys are doing really good in your classes. And I look forward to achieving a really good end of semester with you guys. So back to my project here. The title of my project is called Car Buying. That's definitely something for me that's a big part of my life. On a daily basis, I assist people with their car buying experience, and I know a thing or two about it, and I think it's worth sharing. So to begin, again, my title is called Car Buying, and should you lease or purchase your next vehicle? This is probably a question that we've all faced when we've been shopping around or looking at vehicles. We always hear the term lease and purchase and which is better, and the truth is they both have a lot of benefits, and we're going to get into that next. Okay. Hopefully the next couple of slides are going to give you a little bit more insight and help you in the future. So first and foremost, my advice to you guys is to make a decision based on where you're going. A lot of times when we get to the dealership, it's very easy to get distracted and to maybe not make clear and sound decisions all at once. So some of the things to consider would be, how long are you expecting to have this vehicle? Are you looking to keep it for a couple of years and maybe trade it in for something else? Are you looking to ride it until the wheels fall off? Those are all really good questions, really good things to know heading into the car buying process. Next thing is, what are the operating costs of this vehicle? This isn't something that we always consider when we're getting ready to sign our paperwork when we're going into that finance office. You need to understand that all vehicles need to be maintained, of course, oil changes, things like that, but other vehicles cost more to maintain than others. So make sure that we know that information prior to going into the dealership, because it's going to help us make a better, clear, and sound decision. The next thing is to understand truly how much you can spend on a monthly basis. Okay, make a budget and sit down. Talk to your spouse or your significant other, anybody who helps you with your personal money situation. Talk to them and see where exactly you'd be comfortable and stick to that plan. Don't go into the dealership thinking one thing and you leave with something totally different. Okay? Have an idea about what you need to pay and where you're comfortable paying. Another thing is, don't forget about insurance. Insurance is another cost that's implicated with the ownership of a vehicle. Make sure you get quotes prior to your trip to the dealership. Okay? Understand more or less what you'll be paying on what kind of cars you'll be looking at. Okay? And this all goes hand in hand with being prepared when you arrive at the dealership. Okay, make sure you know a thing or two about all these things, and you're going to be in a better position to make a purchasing decision. And finally, know your credit score. Don't let the salesman, don't let the guys at the dealership tell you what your credit score is. We should already know heading into the dealership more or less where we're at and what kind of interest rate or what kind of benefits we might qualify for based on that information. So next, what we did is we took a common vehicle, a 2017 Mazda CX-5. This is a mid-size crossover SUV, and we're going to give you a personalized buying plan. Okay, the cost of this vehicle is $29,429. And we set up two different processes here of purchasing. Okay, one of them is the traditional 6-year loan purchase, where at the end of the term you would own the vehicle. And the next one would be on the same vehicle, a lease, a 3-year lease on the vehicle, where after the 3-year term you'd either give it back, buy the vehicle, or trade in for another one. One of the biggest things here that we'll focus on is your monthly payment. As you notice, despite having good credit at a 2.9 interest rate, you're still looking at a $416 payment. Okay? Switching over to the lease, assuming the same credit qualifications, you're paying just $287. A lot of people don't understand that too much. The reason is, if you look down at the interest rate, you're paying a 2.9 interest rate on your 6-year loan purchase. When you switch over to the lease, it's essentially a 0% interest. Okay? Another thing to consider is, when you're purchasing the vehicle, you're taking all of the costs all together, financing them, and paying that off. For example, your tax, your title, your license fees, your interest charges. That's why you have a higher payment. Switching back over to the lease program, you're only paying for the depreciation of the vehicle. Okay, you're not paying for ownership. You're just paying for the value that the vehicle is going to lose over the next 3 years. Okay, and as we see later down here in the graph here, after 3 years, okay, after the 3 years of paying on both different purchasing programs, the 6-year note, the traditional buying plan, is significantly more than that of the lease. So short term, you're paying a lot less for the lease. Okay. Now let's look real quick at the pros and cons of the leasing and purchasing. Okay. Definitely one of the benefits of the traditional loan purchase program is that at the end of the term, you're going to own the vehicle. Okay, you'll have an asset that's worth X amount of dollars. Okay, when you lease that vehicle, you never are a registered owner. Okay, when you get your plates, when you get your registration, it'll always show the leasing company on it. For example, I actually lease a vehicle, and ahead of my name is Nissan Motor Acceptance Corporation because they're the primary owners. I'm basically just the driver. Okay? Upfront costs. On a purchase, typically, the upfront costs are just going to be the cost of the vehicle and the tax, title, and license. Okay, so everything all together. Now, when you're on a lease, you are subject to pay a first month's payment, as well as the tax, title, license fee, as well as security deposit and acquisition fee. Okay, so initial costs up front are always going to be a little bit higher on that of a lease. Okay, monthly payments. We just saw that in the last slide, where typically your monthly payments on a purchase are going to be higher than that of those on a lease program. Okay. Early termination. This is where it gets a little funny. When you decide you want to get out of your car and you're in a regular 6-year note, you can do so at any time. Okay, you can trade it in after 6 months, after a year. You go, you trade it in, and you get it paid off, and you get another car. That's no problem. Okay. On a lease, it's a little trickier. Okay, because you're subject to the payments that are left plus the value of the vehicle at the end of the term. Okay, so it could be a lot more costly for you, and a lot more of a hassle to get out of. Okay, so most of the time when you're locked in a 3-year lease, you're pretty much going to be stuck in that lease for a little while. Okay, vehicle return. Vehicle returns on a regular purchase are non-existent. Once it's yours, you can just sell it or trade it as you wish. Okay, and for the lease, after the 3 years, you would return it to basically the dealer where you got it, or the nearest dealer, and at that point you'd be subject to any end of lease costs such as wear and tear, mileage overages, and things like that. Okay, you don't have to worry about mileage when you're purchasing your vehicle. You can go as far and as long as you want on those cars. Okay, and probably the most important at the end, a lot of people like to add their own personal touch to their vehicles. You can do so in both options, purchasing and leasing. However, in leasing, when you do decide to return the vehicle, or your term is up and you're going to return the vehicle, you must restore it back to the factory standards. Okay, so if you put some big wheels on it, you got to take them off and put the originals. If you put stickers on it, things like that. A lot of times leasing companies will charge you for taking off stickers and decals, things of that nature. So that could be a bit of a hassle when you're trying to turn the vehicle in. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. I hope you know a little bit more about purchasing and leasing. And if you don't, you're more than welcome to give me a call or email me. I'm here to help. thank you guys so much for a cool semester. Hopefully we can keep in touch, and let's get graduated and get moving on with everything. Okay, guys? Thank you.